Hello and happy Christmas! Happy Christmas, you might be thinking, it's a bit early for that, but today I'm going to be showing you some of Iron Orchid Designs' new release items for 2023. In this video, I'm going to be showing you different projects that I do with some of their transfers from a hot chocolate station to more practical things such as gift wrap. And in a separate video, I'm going to show you what I'm going to make with their gingerbread man mould and also what I do for pumpkins and Halloween. So if you'd like to get some ideas for what you could be making for yourself or for friends this holiday season, then let's get into it.
So Iron Orchid Designs have released 2 new transfers for Christmas, and the first set of transfer projects I'm going to show you involve this candy cane cottage transfer set. And I'm going to use some of these transfers on bigger projects. I'm starting with this Grandma Kringle's traditional candy canes transfer, which is really adorable. I've got this faux tarnished planter. It's never been used, so perfect for one of these cute transfers for the kitchen. But unfortunately a little bit too big for my planter, so I need to cut it down just to the essentials that I can fit on it. I chose to keep just the words candy canes and then the actual pictures of candy canes at the bottom. I won't go into how to use a transfer because I've done that many times before on different videos, but I'll leave a link to another video below so you can find a full description if you need that as well. I made sure to line up the middle of the words exactly in the middle. If it was wonky or misaligned, that would bug me forever, so that was an important step for me to get right. The size of the candy cane words were a little bit large, but really nicely wrapped around the planter. So actually, depending on the angle that you were looking at it from, you wouldn't necessarily see all the letters, but actually I think that works perfectly fine. I also added some frog tape just because it's not super sticky, and on something that is rounded, it would be easy for it to shift slightly, and that just helped keep it in place while I applied the transfer. The material of this planter is actually quite flimsy, so I had to be quite gentle when using the rubbing stick to apply it nicely. The bottom of my planter had a few ridges, and that always adds a little bit of a challenge when applying a transfer, as you have to be able to bend it nicely around those ridges, otherwise it's likely to crack or break a little bit. And if that's the look you're going for, that's fine, you don't have to overthink it. It's still a simple process, just something you have to pay a bit more attention to if you're looking for the perfect finish. Something like this candy cane tin is going to be pretty low traffic, it doesn't need a lot of sealing. However, I did do 1 coat of clear coat as a sealer just to protect it. And how I'm going to use this is for holding my marshmallows for my hot chocolate station, which is coming up next. So this chalkboard is going to be my new hot chocolate or cocoa station. First things first, I needed to clean the old chalk off of the chalkboard. I looked online and the tip was to use a vinegar solution to remove the chalk, so that is what I did first. And when I came back to it, it had not worked. So plan B, I used my chalkboard paint and just repainted the chalkboard, so I had a perfectly dark finish to apply my cocoa transfer to. The original paint on the wood hadn't been sealed at all, so when I removed some of the blue tack around the edges, it took the finish with it. So I also did a very basic whitewash on the wood pieces to give it a consistent coat all over. I was really excited when I saw this hot cocoa transfer. So adorable and perfect for some charming Christmas decor. Now the details of the sign, the wording on it, are black, so that does make it a little bit harder to see against the chalkboard black background in this case. However, I had a plan for that at the end. I think my favourite part of this sign is the whipped cream and candy cane. It just gives such cosy feel and vibe, really lovely. After I'd removed the plastic sheet that the transfer came on, I just used my finger to go around the edges of all of the sign to make sure that it was stuck down perfectly. Then onto those details. Now the transfer still stood out relatively well considering it was black on black. However, the words served here weren't overly visible because I'd lost the definition in some of the letters that have holes in them, such as the E. So what I did, I went back with the chalkboard paint and painted in where those holes or gaps would be, just to give some definition back to those words. And as I started, I just continued. So I did that on a couple of the edges as well, and also in the slots that run through hot cocoa, and it made it stand out a lot more. I couldn't decide whether to put my chocolates in the drawers or on the shelf, and in the end I went with, well, why not everywhere? Then for my final larger project, I've got this beautiful floral transfer, and this comes as a set of 2 identical ones, so if you wanted to do this as a pair, then that would work perfectly. Again, I had one of these galvanised metal planters, and as soon as I saw this transfer, I knew what I wanted to do to it. In the UK, we have a traditional Christmas plant called a poinsettia. It's not available at the moment, so I can't show you what it would look like for the full Christmas effect, but it's going to look so charming when it's surrounded by Christmas decor at the time. Again, with a round object, the important thing is to get it placed in the middle as best as possible when you're looking down on it, so that it's nice and even. And there are a couple more ridges again to contend with, but it wasn't a major issue. It can be more challenging to apply transfers to rounded objects, so cutting to the edges of the transfer just makes it that little bit easier. This transfer was actually the perfect size for this planter, so it worked really nicely. I can't wait to put a poinsettia in this at Christmas. It will look so nice with the reds and pinks within this floral transfer. The second set of transfers that I've received from Iron Orchid Designs was called Holly Glen. And with these ones I made a series of things that you could do for things like gift wrap. The transfers range in size from A4 size down to about 3 inches or 10 centimetres roughly. But the first project I chose to do was to make Christmas tree ornaments. I had some wooden stars and hearts that were perfect for the animals. So for the smaller ones, I thought they would look perfect on these wooden tree ornaments. Some of the transfers had a solid rectangular edge, and others it was freeform. It was the freeform ones that I wanted to use on these wooden bases because I didn't want there to be a sharp edge when there was already a distinct shape to the ornament. So I chose ones that were a similar size and the majority of the animal would be visible once it had been placed. It was a tiny bit trickier on the star ornaments, so I used scissors to cut into the middle of each point of the star. I didn't want the image to wrap around the edges of the shape. I cut as close to the transfer as possible so that I didn't get any overlap and it was a clean finish to the edge. I also finished these with a coat of clear coat in flat, so it wouldn't give it any additional sheen, just a tiny bit of protection. Then onto the medium-sized animals, and these spoke to me as perfect for greeting cards, especially if you know someone who has a favourite animal that features in one of these designs. So I did a couple of options. I put one on some brown paper for a more rustic card feel, and then a couple of others onto blank white card. For the brown card, I chose this really beautiful fox design. In fact, there's a couple of lovely foxes. There's this one, which is a standalone fox, and there's one which are 2 foxes cuddled together, both really lovely. And the white card options, I did some with birds and some with mice. And what I don't show, but what you'll see at the end, is I also use some of the scrap transfer on the envelope for the mice. So you can even give a extra special finishing touch to the envelope for these personalised cards as well, which just makes it really lovely and also really simple to do. Then again, back to the small animals, I wanted to create some gift tags, and these would go with the gift wrap that I also made, which you don't actually have any footage of because I got carried away and did this without filming. Now, I already had some blank ready-made gift tags that were good to go, but it would be very simple to just cut some gift tag shapes out of some plain card and punch a hole in them for this, and also use a ribbon if you wanted to. It's just a really simple way to make something look so much more thoughtful and personal and charming. Just look how cute these 2 little gift tags are. They make such a nice addition to a little present. And here's some of the gift wrap that I did as well, including one of the most impressive designs, that really lovely stag transfer. Here they are in all their glory, my ornaments on the tree, greetings cards, the envelope, the gift tags and the gift wrap. And the corner of dreams with my hot cocoa station, my candy cane marshmallow holder, and finally my plant pot that will hold a lovely plant nearer Christmas time.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some ideas and inspiration for things you can make for yourself or your friends this year. These items are limited edition, so if you are interested, head over to the Iron Orchid Designs website and you can find out where you can buy them locally to you. Okay, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, bye!